You are now chopping it up with the Nerd Barbershop Podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd Barbershop Podcast. I'm Terry. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode of the podcast, hanging out with me for a little bit. So this episode of the podcast, I want to be talking about something I've been thinking about for a little while, actually for like a couple of years, and something I talk about with my uncle all the time, even some of my coworkers. Is like, is there too much content in the world right now in terms of streaming content, what's on TV, the internet, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat? Is there too much content now? And honestly, yes, I think yes is the easy answer. But I want to kind of break that down a little bit and kind of explain why is there so much content. Because I remember back in the 90s, me and my uncle used to always talk about, just TV as a whole. Because, for a long time, it was just really broadcast TV was all you had. And then, of course, if you could afford cable, if your family had the juice, you had cable. You had a box or a satellite or whatever. And that's really kind of it. When the internet was still kind of like in its early stages, we didn't have all the stuff that we had now. Phones, we didn't really have mobile phones like that. And so really broadcast TV was all you had. You had broadcast TV, a little bit of the internet, cable, and the radio and newspapers. And now you fast forward to 2023, and there's so much streaming content. There's so many things. You have broadcast TV still, you have cable, but you have streaming services everywhere. Everyone has a streaming service now. Everyone has a streaming platform. Everyone has a thing that has content on it. And now you're trying to juggle between, do you watch Hulu live TV? Do you watch Netflix? Do you watch Freeform? Do you watch Tubi? Do you watch Amazon Prime? Do you watch Netflix? Do you watch Crunchyroll? Do you watch Peacock? Do you watch Freevee? There's so many different avenues you can watch. You can watch not just cartoons, but you can watch content now. It's kind of insane, and it's kind of overwhelming too, because it's hard to keep up with everything you want. And of course, you still have Stars, HBO, Showtime, AMC. You have all these places you can get content, and it's kind of hard to juggle all of that. And I think we're in a state where we went from having limited, resources. You can watch stuff, but you might be, I wish I could watch this, and this, or I wish I can watch that. And then of course, I forgot to add Pluto TV to that too. You still have Pluto. You have Sling TV. Hulu with live TV. Even YouTube now has YouTube TV. YouTube, when it started, was always home videos. Just people, people just recording whatever. Because when YouTube first started, it was a lot of cat videos. People doing goofy stuff. And now it's everything. Now you have people who built their entire careers off of YouTube. You have YouTube content creators and YouTube content creation being a job. It is now a job title. It's something you can actually work towards and can make money on. You have to grind for it to get to that point, but you guys make money on YouTube now, and it's kind of insane. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Then going from just having radio to some pictures. And of course, you had when movies became. You had radio, movies, then television being in homes. And you upgrade that to broadcast TV, update that to the satellite and cable. And now you can watch anything, anywhere, at any time on damn near any device that has the internet. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer. You can watch, TV nonstop. Before, with broadcast TV, TV was shut off. At a certain point, nothing would go on. There would be no broadcast stations broadcasting anything. And that TV is 24/7. The internet is always on, so you can always find something. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. It's nuts. When you really think about this, how much content we consume and what's out there, and and I think it can be overwhelming. Where there's a lot of days where I'm watching something, and then I'm like, I'll get back into it, and then it just kind of gets pushed down the watch list because you start watching something else. Then something else, and something else, then something else, and something else. So it's kind of nuts. So it's a lot of content. It's a lot of things to keep up with. And we only get so many hours in a day, especially if you spend you spend 8 hours at work, you spend about 8 hours of sleep. That's 16 hours of a 24-hour day that's gone. So you don't really get to catch up on as much TV as you want. There's so many times where I want to just stay home and watch animes and watch, stuff all day, but I can't, maybe spend maybe an hour or two watching animes or catching up on shows, but then I have to record a video, record a podcast, go to work, do laundry, try to make appointments for stuff, try to get other stuff taken care of, do some more business stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of content. Like, it's crazy how much content there is. And it's kind of a bad thing, but also good. Like, it's a good thing because we have variety, but it's a bad thing because we feel so overwhelmed that I don't think we feel like we can finish anything unless you literally devote yourself to watching a show and just kind of knocking that show out and then watching something else. But with so many options every single day, that just, your brain's all over the place. So definitely a lot of content, definitely a lot of things to watch. Of course, it has its pros and its cons. And it's kind of cool to see like where we were in the 90s to now, going from having, maybe 20 watchable channels maybe on broadcast TV, something like that, to now it's almost like there's like an infinite of things to watch, and you can find anything you like at any time, and it's just kind of crazy. But I definitely think there's a lot of content, and it's too much content now, especially when Netflix created the idea of binge watching, and that just changed the game completely. But it is what it is. That's where we're at. We're in a content era now where content is really king, and we're competing against everything and against each other, where especially with being a content creator, we're competing against people all over the world at all times of day, any day, at 24/7. It doesn't really matter. So definitely a lot of content. I mean, it's good and bad because there is like some stuff that's kind of just not good, but it does exist. So but hey, it is what it is. That comes with the life of now being kind of in this content era of the world we're in. There's a lot of good content, but there's also a lot of so-so content and kind of meh content. But it is what it is. But it's definitely a lot of things out there, and it's hard not to get burned out or feel like, damn, like I can't watch this because I gotta watch this, or I want to watch this, but I'm stuck in this season. So it is what it is. Maybe it'll balance itself out eventually. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But thank you so much for listening and watching to this brand new episode of the Nerd Barbershop Podcast. Again, I think this is like my first podcast in October. I was going to try to do one every month. I think I missed one. No, I think I got one in September. No, I think I missed one in September. I think I did one in August, but I forgot. Things happen. I'm trying to get more consistent with the podcast. This is a topic I definitely wanted to talk about and get the podcast out. I figured it was something that was really relevant, people could really relate to. So let me know. Is there too much content? Not enough content? Was there more content? Let me know. But thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube, listening on YouTube, and listening, of course, on Spotify and across all the other platforms. I greatly appreciate it. We're winding down 2023. We're heading into 2024. So I'm going to try to crank out a few more episodes of the podcast before the year is over. Older than forever, slicing, dicing, gaming. It's not just a motto, it's a lifestyle. I'll see you next podcast. Later.